I've got 6 o'clock. Here's that we have a quorum. Miss Black, do you care to call the roll? Yes, ma'am.
You're getting there.
You're fine.
Barnes,
Here.
Brown,
Here.
Dents,
Here.
Diorio, Estes,
Here.
Hastings,
Here.
Murphy,
Here.
Pickett, Wilkes.
Here.
If everybody knows, Brother Jackie Pickett's back with us. Glad to have him back. He said, if you'll just excuse me from not standing up tonight when we do the Pledge of Allegiance, and I said I understood. So, but if y'all join with me, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd ask if we'd have somebody that reading, correction, and disposition of minutes from last meeting.
I move we dispense with the reading and pass, accept them as presented.
All right.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Black, if I get to going too fast, tell me, sorry. Yeah, okay. All right. County Treasurer's Report, Ms. Wanda's.
We gotta vote on the minutes.
I'm sorry, getting too excited.
Barnes,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Dents,
Yes.
Diorio,
Yes.
Estes,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Pickett, Wilkes.
Yes.
All right, now slow down a little bit. Ms. Wanda's here with us tonight. Do you have anything to share with us?
I mailed out my reports in the packet. If anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to answer. Everything's looking good at the moment.
Ms. Black's with us tonight. County and Circuit Clerk's Report. Does anybody have anything from her? Ms. Black, you have anything to share?
Not till we get to that ordinance,
Okay.
then I will.
We got our county collector here, Miss Michelle. Do you got anything to update or share with them?
Just gonna kind of update, done what we did on our collections for March compared to last year, about 2,000 more. And on the Cherokee Village SID stuff, our office did get corrections from the assessor's office, and we got those trained, and we were able to work really hard and got new statements sent out today for all of the people.
For those that don't know what happened, if you don't, SID had made mistakes on the, how many was it?
There was over 1,400 parcels
Okay.
total that they had put assessments on that shouldn't have been there, or the assessments were incorrect. So those changes had to be made.
So are they gonna pay for the postage of all those going out?
They're, we had a little meeting, and they're gonna reimburse us for any supplies, postage, and time, so.
Good.
So I appreciate the work Michelle put into that, because there's overtime there that they had to get to put that together for them. Sheriff,
Yes.
anything to update us on?
No,
Anything neat going on?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. Old and unfinished business. I talked to Sheriff Russell and we decided to wait until, sorry, it's been a long day. Wait till the end of the year till we do our budgets. And then he's gonna come back to us on the salary raises. And so, he would like to dismiss it at this time. And so if I could get somebody to motion, because we'll have to take it off since we brought it on. So if I could get somebody to, is that correct, Ms. Black? Since we brought it up, we'll have to have a motion to dismiss it, and he'll bring it back up in November when we do our budgets. So, okay, I get a second?
I'll second it.
Bill, and then Judge Brown was our second.
I have a question for the sheriff.
Yes, ma'am, you go right ahead.
Do we vote on that? Sorry.
Yeah, she'll vote just a second, but if you have a question, go ahead and ask it
I
for me.
wanted to ask you about medical. because I know that we're over budget in medical. I wanted to know, do you get reimbursed if the state prisoners go to medical or any of that? You get reimbursed for that?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes. We are currently, our current doctor, his last day was the 28th of March. We have had to move and start working, trying to work with White River. We have a Dr. Burns, I believe it is, that is starting to look at the patients, and he has a nurse that's going to come in and fill out meds and stuff for them. I told him what our budget was as far as that was, and they said that they would work with it. So, with that being said, I'm still trying to work some things out with him. I haven't had a chance to visit the judge yet about it, but that's where we are on that.
Okay, thank you.
That's one of the toughest things as sheriff that you run into. Judge Brown, remember, it's a budget for people getting sick in the jail. They love to go to the doctor and tell them, well, we was talking about one Saturday morning he had to deal with around 7 o'clock, so I'll let you go ahead and call the vote. I'll quit talking.
Barnes,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Dents,
Yes.
Diorio,
Yes.
Estes.
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes.
Pickett.
Yes.
Wilks.
Yes. Thank you, Sheriff.
Under new business, we have two resolution ordinances to go over tonight. One is ordinance for I can't even talk tonight. On the handbook, and the second one's amend the tax levy, and Ms. Black will talk about that in just a minute. On the handbook,
Somebody number 4.
I was looking at it, sorry. You advise number 4. Could I get somebody to read this ordinance?
I'll read it. An ordinance adopting revision of the employee handbook for Sharp County policy and procedures for at-will employment and other matters. Whereas the Quorum Court of Sharp County, Arkansas has determined the specific items in attached employee handbook for at-will employees should be revised and adopted for Sharp County employees. See attached changes. Now therefore be it ordained that by the Quorum Court of Sharp County, Arkansas, that the attached employee handbook revisions are hereby adopted for policy and procedures at will employment for Sharp County employees. The provision of this ordinance are hereby declared to be severable and if any provision shall for any reason be held illegal or invalid, such as holding shall not affect the validity of remain of this ordinance. All ordinances and resolutions or parts therefore in conflict herewith are hereby repealed to extent of such conflict.
What about the second page, Ms. Black?
I don't think you have to read that into,
On the second page,
everybody can
Yes.
just read it and.
okay. On the second page, they went to explain what vacation was and how the time worked. So if y'all have had a chance to look at that. And then on the sick leave, we stuck with the 12 days that everybody in the state is doing. We left it at the 12 days. The only thing on the vacation up there, Ms. Denise put at the bottom, if an employee does not use all they should be used instead of us all earn vacation up to 40 hours. Then it would be paid at the end of the year of carryover amount is deducted, is that correct? Sick leave is left at 12 days, and then the meal reimbursement. Sometimes we have deputies and reserve deputies and people going to classes, people going to pick up inmates across the state or out of state. And we just wanted to make sure that clearly identified that if somebody was going to class, somebody was going to pick up an inmate, because at one point, we just had it set up for the reserve deputies years ago. And so we just wanted to make sure that the auditors didn't give us any problem, that it clearly said if Shane was going to a class in Texarkana and went through his lunch break, then we could buy him lunch while he was there. So just wanted to explain that, so if anybody had questions. So if anybody got any discussion before we vote on it?
And we're switching the sick leave back from hours to days, 12 days, not 5 hours. So that cuts out the 8, 10, and 12. And they can either take a half a day or a whole day. There's no 15 minutes or 2 hours or whatever. You either take a half a day of sick leave or a whole day of sick leave.
The Association County's lawyer sent us one, and they had it set up for 15 minutes. And I wouldn't want to keep up with that. It'd be hard enough just keeping up with 4 hours, but I know we had to, so we just put it at 4 hours. Sorry about that. It has been changed from hours to days.
You changed the vacation date, so instead of getting 3 weeks after 5 years, you get 3 weeks after 4 years, is that right?
Yes, sir.
No.
They should have been 3 weeks after 5, or
And I was going with.
after, yeah, because I just noticed that, Miss Denise. Do you see that?
5 years through 9 years.
Oh, that is correct. I'm sorry.
Well, the old one said, the one you said, it said 2 to 5, but this one says 2 to 4.
Right, and then 5 years to 9 years is
Right.
3 weeks. Yeah.
And then on the meal reimbursement, you're just adding the part about the sheriff's office.
We got the sheriff's office.
And we raised the daily rate to $75.
Yes, I remember that, yeah.
Yes, sir. Whether they stayed overnight or not, because it did read that you had to stay overnight in order to get reimbursement.
She has the employees at the first, and then the sheriff's office, so it covers the reserve officers also if they're on the transport.
We're
So if-
changing the carryover on sick days from 30 to 45, and allow people to donate up to 5 days sick days, is that right?
I'm sorry, I forgot to add that. Yes, sir. So if somebody's fighting cancer or something, and like Bart wanted to donate, he didn't use but 3 or 4 days this year, and he going to donate the rest to somebody going through that, then he could, to help them out. The only thing on the meal reimbursement, they had to bring a ticket in and show that what they had, where they'd went that day, and as long as there's no alcohol, or you can't give a tip on it either, so.
Well, I'm glad we changed that now.
Does anybody else have any questions or debate over it? Ms. Black?
I move we adopt it.
I'll second.
Motion made by Judge Brown, and second by Ms. Brianna.
Barnes,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Dent,
Yes.
Diorio,
Yes.
Estes.
Yes.
Hastings.
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Pickett.
Yeah.
Wills.
Yes.
We're gonna vote on it again, or wait till next month? Just one time on that?
Yes, there's no more.
You're awesome. Now I'll let Mrs. Black explain our second ordinance.
This has to do with, a rollback to mailrooms that we had done. Because I go to a class every year in,
You sure?
I go to a class each year to help me with to do tests. We do these things called tests for rollback. How come the clerk's office has to do these? I have no idea, but because we get every single thing from the assessor's end of the hallway. So she gives me everything, I bring it, and we put it all on the spreadsheet. So anyhow, to make a long story short, we had rolled it back to 37.27 because of because of having to do a rollback. It's all Greek to me on that side of it. However, that's what we had to do in order to make all the numbers fit. And then when I sent in all of the abstracts in this year, I get a phone call from the Department of Education that said, this is not right. They're not turning in that same amount from Melbourne. And I was like, okay, so she said what we had to do was, I had called several times to find out because I'd never dealt with a rollback before. So I called to make sure about what we needed to do. Did we have to put it back to the way it was, or did it stay a rollback? And she informed me that they weren't really sure about what we were supposed to do with it because they just collect the data. So this year, when I was told it was wrong, I wanted more answers, and I told them, I said, you need to tell me why it's wrong, because I need to be able to explain to what's happening. So what happens is, because the school for Melbourne, they are the county that actually passes the meals for their county, or for the whole, we're just the fringe. And so since they pass the millage to stay at the 38.22, we have to put ours back at the 38.22 to correct everything. And then from what I understand, that after we put it back to that, then the next, when I go back in for the rollback testing again at the end of the year, if it needs to be rolled back again, we roll it back again for the next year. And then the next year goes back. So she told me there are several counties that don't even do a rollback, that they just leave everything alone because of the mess that it creates. However, it hurts the school districts too when we do that. So that's the reason it's back on the agenda for us to amend that to be the 38.22 instead of the 38.27. I've already went and talked to Michelle about it. I've talked to Kathy about it. And Kathy said it's just a small number of parcels is what she told me.
Yeah, there might be 70, there's not very many parcels that we have in that school district.
So it's just a small fringe that we have, but it needs to be corrected. And so I told the Department of Education and the assessment coordination people that I would bring it before the court and try to get it amended. So that's what we have to do with this tonight.
Any questions?
I hope not.
I don't
know
understand
that.
I don't understand it. Well, that rollback is complicated. It's been going on forever. I know they used to pull their hair out trying to do that.
What do you think, Larry?
Here's the problem.
He's the man.
Either we got, let me tell you,
Yeah.
there's liability in here if you don't collect the right amount of taxes. There's personal liability that falls back on the clerk. So
Well, why ain't we collecting what their meals are?
well, that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
I mean, why did we change it?
Because she followed the formula that they're supposed to be following.
So
and
she
they
just
didn't
needs
follow
to
it.
collect what they say they collect.
Right.
Correct.
Well, I don't know if we voted to follow the other
So
one.
the number was 37 point what?
27.
Okay. Thank you.
Judge Brown, do you have anything?
No, I just want to say that, like Tommy says, it's pretty complicated. If your assessment grows so much, then they roll it back because it's only allowed to climb so much in a certain period of time.
Well, what do you
There's a
need?
lot of different reasons why
Yeah.
it does
You
it.
need a motion to collect what you should be
Would-
I
collecting?
need a
Would you
motion
care-
to amend the ordinance.
Are we gonna have to read it? Or just
No,
make
No.
them up? Okay.
We just need to, it's gonna be for Melbourne School District number 51 to go from 37.27 to place it back on the elected amount, which is 38.22.
That's what I
On their
moved.
ballot.
What she said is my motion.
That'll work. You got a second? Joe, Brother Joey seconded it.
Thank y'all. I'll try not to let that happen again, but
Do we need to call a roll on that?
yes, please.
Barnes,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Dents,
Yes.
Fiorio,
Yes.
Estes.
Yes.
Casey.
Yes.
Murphy.
I'm gonna abstain,
Pickett. Brooks.
Yes.
cause I don't understand it.
We, real quick, I won't be long. I know Jackie's been here a while this afternoon. We got our bridge finished on Shelbyville Road, really looks good. Get the opportunity to go out that way, and you see it, they've done a good job on that. We had our auction, Witcher had our auction last Saturday, and we was able to sell that grader that I talked to. The Caterpillar had offered us $50,000, it brought $72,000. And sold a couple of chippers that wasn't doing anything but rotting out in the boneyard. In fact, one of them, they had to use a breakover to get the motors free up. And I got both of them running before we went to the sale, and one brought $20,000, one brought $13,000. Really neat to watch these people go after it. And had an old red Ford ton truck, had 400 and something thousand miles. Had the 7.3. And I got to see Dan Melbourne today, and he said when he got to buy that, he said he brought $5,000, or he got it for $5,000, and we sold it the other day for either $5,000 or $5,250. So it's pretty neat. So we got the auction through, and we're waiting on a check from them. Hopefully by the end of the week we'll have our money from them from the auction. One other thing is, we every time that all of our Caterpillar graders and our dump trucks, our Mack dump trucks, every time light comes on, they're like cars at your house, and we a lot of times we have to call a repairman to come from Jonesboro or Little Rock, and they're about the same. You're going to spend at least $500 every time that they just travel up here, and just to do a diagnostics on it. We got to looking at the diagnostics machine, and we could buy one for $14,000 and some change, and it would work on the Mack trucks and the Caterpillars. So hopefully that our mechanics, if it's just a sensor, could put it on and save us the $500. Miss Denise and the guys at the shop got to looking, because I thought $15,000 was quite a bit of money, $14,000 and change. That gives you the machine and the software, and then each year, how much is it to update?
$4,800, but they said we didn't have to do that.
You don't have to update every year, but there'll come a time when you have to update it to keep up with everything that's new. How many months would we pay that off? Y'all looked that up for me the other day. As many service calls as we have out there,
It would be paid for in less than a year
so,
because of the service.
as
contract,
many
just
service-
to do a diagnostic reading.
and many service calls as we have out there. I spoke to Miss Wanda, and we have some money left that the government give us that y'all have me and Shane to order the radios on. We was wondering if it'd be possible that y'all might okay us to get this diagnostic machine to have. I wanted to bring that up tonight and see if anybody had a question. Miss Wanda checked into it, and we could do that under that money, so. It
We
really,
got a technician, can read it.
we have a couple really good mechanics that could read it out. Really do a good job, and that would save us every time a sensor goes out. Because you get nervous when check engine light comes on a $300,000 road grader. And we usually leave it where it's sitting, and the mechanic goes out and checks it, make sure it's safe to bring it back. And that just saves us that $500 trip they charge us every time they come out. Sometimes they come out 3 or 4 times a week.
I've got a question about the radios. Have we still got enough money to finish on the radios, what we was gonna do?
I believe so. We haven't got our bill in. I asked for it last week, and we still haven't received an invoice for the radios that we purchased.
For the new digital or all that? Well, I think it's gonna be tight. Didn't we have money left over from the other judge that we carried over?
Yes, sir, there was money left over from last year on
If
repairs.
it's gonna put the
motor-
radios close, all we'd have to do is get it, wouldn't it?
What was our cost? I don't even remember for sure about those radios.
I have to go back and look, it's over 20, I know that, maybe closer to 24.
That first batch of money I got 50,000, and I was supposed to get another 50,000 sometime in the next, hopefully in the next month or so. Then that'll be the end of that money. Because we had a report that was due March the 31st, and after all the reports are turned in, then the understanding is they'll post it on the portal to where I can go in and apply for the next 50,000. So sometime we'll have another 50,000 coming this year.
If the radios were 24, and this is, I put 16, but it should be about 15, and 8,000 that we used to get that fuel system, would put it at 47, so you'd still be $3,000 below the 50.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, didn't we have 180 or 200 that,
Well, we don't carry that over, it just.
I
goes
know
back
it's
in the
not
pot.
carried over, but it was leftover that we put in general funds from the county, or am I mistaken?
Not in general.
I was told the other judge didn't spend it all.
Are you talking about the ARP?
No, ma'am, the road maintenance
The
that was
road
left over
maintenance that was
last
carried
year.
over. We don't carry it over, but the road maintenance that was left,
Yeah, it just stays in the checking account.
It's no
He-
longer designated.
No, you guys haven't appropriated any of it.
Yeah.
but I know, but we could use it for something for the judge if we needed to, right?
He's wanting, no, could we take it out of there and then
If it made
clean it
this-
up at the end of the
Well, it
year?
has to be an appropriation, I mean,
That's what you use for the budget for this year, then.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain how it works. Just because y'all budget and say you got X amount of dollars to spend, if the revenues that I have anticipated to come in don't come up to those numbers, then you don't really have anything necessarily left over. But there's nothing that leaves the checking account either. It's kind of, I'm not a teacher, and I know what I'm doing and how to do
Explain
it,
this to
and
me,
it's
Tommy.
just hard to explain it. If you don't, you're not working when we set budgets, I'm not working with actual revenue numbers. I'm working with anticipated revenue numbers.
It's just,
I hope this is what we get in order to meet this request. When all was said and done last year, the difference from the revenue that I got and the budget that was spent was not $180,000. If they had spent all the road budget last year, I would have had to have drawn money from the savings account and put it into the checking account because they would have depleted the checking account. I didn't touch the savings account because they didn't spend all their budget and because the revenues wasn't as great as we thought, then I didn't need the savings account money. I know, it's like muddy water, but
If we've got, money left on that first 50,000 from the federal government that we,
yes, the
if we've got
50,000,
money left from that, that can be used for this.
we can use it for any county,
Okay.
any expense that you would
So,
normally use county
Did
money.
we find out how much
Okay,
have
this isn't
we
the ARP money.
appropriated out of that 50?
Yes, it's
had it.
the fuel system,
Yeah,
and
24,
the digital radio.
24,000 for radios, 8,000 or 8,500 for that fuel system, and then if this is 15,000, we bring it to 47.
Still have
We still have a little, and then like I said, I've still got 50 come. At some point this year, I'll be able to do
And
50.
you're looking for what, 14?
Yes, sir, 14 and some change. Well, do you have that
I
number
just put
from?
15.
I approved it.
15,000, so.
Yes, sir.
And for this money, purchases like the radios and the fuel system and this and, you know, a bigger purchase, like one, it's gonna be easier for us to do all the paperwork because the feds are gonna require quite a bit of paperwork with this money.
Denise, what was your total?
It was, be what, 47.5, because I put 8,500 for It was 24 for the radios, 15 for what the judge just asked for, and 85 for what we already spent for the fuel system.
We've got the first bunch spent.
Yeah, pretty well, the first 50,000.
So,
I just wanna bring it to y'all, see if y'all are in agreement.
Well, I move we do it.
yeah.
Second.
Thank you. You just wanna show of hands, Ms. Black, or do you?
You gotta vote, hang on.
Yes, ma'am. I'll slow down, sorry.
The next 50.
No, this 15,000 is
I need to know exactly what the motion is.
We got a motion to allow the judge to purchase a vehicle scan,
Just to 15,000.
got the 15,000. Chuck Murphy,
Did you say a vehicle scan?
yes, ma'am.
It's called a diagnostic scan, Joel, is what it's called.
J.P. Murphy made a motion.
Up to how much?
15,000.
Okay. Now, who was the motion made?
Barnes did, didn't he? Did you second
Mrs.
that?
Barnes?
He did.
Yeah, I guess I can.
Chuck Murphy made the motion. Will Wilkes made the
Buell.
second.
Buell. Buell.
It doesn't matter.
How do you vote?
Yes, ma'am.
Barnes,
Yes.
In the minutes.
Yes.
I would in the minutes.
Dent,
Yes.
Diorio.
Yes.
Estes,
Yes.
Hastings.
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Pickett. Wilkes.
Yes.
Any questions or comments from the court?
I have a question for
Yes,
Wanda
ma'am.
that I just thought of. I just recently have a small CD, and I went into the bank because I knew that the interest rate, I was at 0.75. So I wanted to see what the penalty was for that, and then the penalty was like $43, and I would make $400. So I took the penalty and redid the CD for 12 months. So I was wondering, do we have any money, or do we have anything
We've
in
got
CD?
2 new CDs. We've got a county general CD for $1 million and a county road CD for $2 million. They're tied up for 1 year at 4.5%.
Good job, okay.
And I've talked to the sheriff, and we've got some extra money in the quarter to sales tax account, and we're talking about tying some of that up in the CD.
Okay.
And the good thing with Sharp County and we bank with First National, is that if we need it, there's no penalties.
Well, you got a better rate than I did.
I'm sorry.
Any questions or comments from the public? Yes, Mr. Peter.
Has,
I'd like to make it after you adjourn.
has anyone drove by the house that we give these ladies?
Yeah, I've been over there a bunch of
Is
times.
there people in it?
We have just finished putting in the security system. They had to remodel that house to make it livable for.
Well, they knew that when they bought it.
Yeah.
Oh, they're working on it.
Well,
I was by there a while back and it looked like to me it was stuff just thrown outside.
now I'll go back by there again. They're doing what they said they would do with it.
Good, I just asked. I mean, that's the only way I'm find out.
Any more questions or comments?
You want a motion to adjourn?
Could I get a motion to
You
adjourn?
got it.
J.P. Murphy made a motion to adjourn.
Second. Or Joey will.
It doesn't matter to me.
J.P. Estes made a second. I call the meeting to close.